Boom.
What's up, boys?
What's up, ladies and gentlemen?
Is CJ Stroud the next sheriff?
Looked like it. Looked like it on Sunday.
So I saw this post and it was, who is the best, or in 2 years, who will be the best quarterback in the AFC South? So you got Anthony Richardson,
Trevor.
Will Levis, Trevor Lawrence. I don't think anyone's picking Levis, and CJ Stroud. I commented CJ Stroud on behalf of this podcast already, but
Yeah, I mean, obviously, it's really early, but I like Stroud, Drew. I really do, and I've both been on him. There was actually one point where I thought maybe he should be drafted over Bryce Young, but like, regardless, dude. I mean, he's absolutely balling.
yeah.
And I think a lot of people were scared about like what he might do or if he'll be because the whole Ohio State quarterback thing. I mean I saw him play. They lost to Georgia in the. I remember watching this with my friend. And C.J. Stroud went off against Georgia's defense, and Georgia's defense was like legit.
Yeah.
I was like, dude, that was what had me at that point. I was like, okay, he might actually be better than Bryce Young. Now, obviously, two very different situations. He's in a bit more favorable, but hats off to him, dude. I'd probably have to say CJ right now, because Lawrence has not taken that leap that we've wanted.
Yeah.
At all.
I agree.
We're like you and I are still. We've been waiting since week one, basically, for him to have that big, commanding game, and he just has not had it. So. Yeah, I like Stroud, but all right, guys.
Anthony Richardson too.
I mean, yeah, Richardson was a big guy for both of us. Both liked him. Just the injury, he's gonna have to slide like that. That's you don't want to see another RJ3 situation where the guy never learns to slide and then career cut short because he doesn't learn how to slide.
Yeah.
So he's a great talent. Was playing well when he was in, but all right.
Forget about him. His career's over.
No.
2 years down the line, no one's gonna care about him.
No, don't say that.
Oh, okay.
Tuesday night, y'all. Giving y'all a preview of the Thursday night game. Wrapping up everything that happened on Sunday and Monday. I'm going to start us off with a little bit of news. So, Bryce Ripien, however you say it, released by the Rams. Carson Wentz got signed. So, Matt Stafford is also looking like... Say bye to Carter for the next few seconds. Carson Wentz is signed. Matt Stafford is also looking like he's, kind of projected to play moving forward, so that's really good. Kyler Murray activated the 53-man roster, so a lot of QB news going on, guys. Kyler Murray, if you've waited on him as I have him in my IR spot right now. Could be a big boost. Obviously a big boost to this Arizona offense. Could be as well to your fantasy team. He has a really rough outings to start, I believe. Not good matchups. Sticking with the QBs, Justin Fields uncertain after limited practices this week. Obviously playing on Thursday, which we will get to in a few seconds here, against Carolina. So he logged limited practice both Monday and Tuesday ahead of Thursday night. I'm a Fields owner, guys. I'm not looking to play him. Short week. I'd like to see, I think I'm looking more for the following week versus this week. He'll get a long break after this. So I like him more there. Khalil Herbert logs consecutive practices, full participation, which is big. So that will. I'm not sure how I view that backfield with Foreman, Roshan obviously, and then Herbert. All of them healthy now. That's not something I'm looking forward to trying to understand.
Right. Yeah, I would stay away if possible.
Yeah. Will Levis named starting quarterback for the Titans. So, we answered a few questions last week on this. I'm not looking to have Will Levis in my lineup. I think a guy in our league did start him. Not a good idea. Yeah, not sure why you would do that. Cole Kmet, non-participant on Monday. No news on Tuesday. I have to look that up for you guys. So, let's see. Just go to just injuries here. See what's going on. Randall Cobb didn't play. Kendrick Miller, backup running back for New Orleans, undergoing undergoing further testing on his ankle. So gonna have to see how that plays out. Obviously, a big boost to Jamal Williams. Justin Jefferson could have 21-day practice window open. Big for him. Big for that offense. I was really out on him once we thought Jaron Hall was going to be starting. Obviously, with Josh Dobbs, much better outlook there. I honestly, obviously his stock goes down a little bit, but in a Kevin O'Connell ran offense, Josh Dobbs looks good. I like Jefferson. I would still encourage trading for him. You know, if you're in a really good position in your league, the guy that has him is not. I would highly encourage trading for Justin Jefferson. David, obviously, and you could go a little lower now because Josh Dobbs is the quarterback versus Cousins, obviously.
Yeah.
David Montgomery looking good for Week 10. So the split between him and Gibbs will be interesting. You'd have to think Gibbs gets a little bit more of a higher touch percentage, overall snap percentage with the two performances he put on with Montgomery out. I still think they're both probably high-end RB2s. Montgomery in terms of touchdowns, Gibbs efficiency, receptions, that sort of thing. So I like both of them moving forward. I forgot about this. The Giants, guys, Taylor not a lot to return this season. Jones out, torn ACL. Not laughing about it, but it's just like things just have not been good whatsoever for this Giants team.
Yeah, they are.
Saquon, if anything, this is just a further lock for his volume. The guy seems to somehow manage to get it done week in and week out, but everyone else is kind of like droppable at this point. Even like Darren Waller, to be honest. As crazy as that sounds, he's on IR right now. He's gonna have Tommy DeVito thrown to him. I don't know. I feel like there's better options. Dallas Goedert suffers fractured forearm week 9. We'll have to see the severity of it. What is projection? He'll probably go to IR, I would think, unfortunately. So I would start looking for a streaming tight end coming up here this week. Christian Watson. I'm just scrolling through, guys. I don't know why he's up there. Cam Akers, Achilles. That's killer, man.
Yeah.
Opposite one. So he tore his Achilles in his left leg this time. Right leg 2 years ago. So, hope for a quick heal. He had a really quick heal last time. Did a different type of surgery than what most people do. So, just really unfortunate situation for Cam. Regardless of how you feel about him, regardless of fantasy, just hate to see that. It is a boost to Alexander Madison, obviously. Ty Chandler is on the streaming radar, I would say. Josh Downs exited the Panthers game, so he came in with a knee injury, exited that game. KJ Osborne concussion, left the game. We'll have to see, obviously, how he plays out concussion protocol this week. Going to be interesting to see that. Let's see, what else we got? A lot of injuries this week. Josh Palmer's placed on IR. I did not see that. So that was announced on Sunday. So that ends it, but that's pretty big for y'all.
Yeah.
Obviously with Mike Williams already out, and that means Palmer's out for at least 4 more weeks. But so I would assume the Jets game counts as one game already then. And he would have 3 more moving forward versus not counting the Jets game 4 moving forward.
Yeah.
So that's good for owners. I guess that's, somewhat good news. So we're going to move into Thursday night preview. Get that out of the way for you guys. Got a real barn burner here. Carolina at Chicago. No Justin Fields. A crappy Carolina team coming in. I don't know why I picked them this week. You were licking your chops when I did that. Rightly so.
Yeah, how are we looking? I guess we'll do the preview.
Yeah, we can get to that after this. But, yeah, so Carolina, Chicago. This is really interesting in terms of fantasy. So we saw Miles Sanders. I'll start with this. We saw Miles Sanders pick up a solid workload. Versus him and Chuba. I'll just go to kind of those game stats real quick. But Chicago has a good actual run defense. They just allow a lot of receiving work 2 running backs, which is kind of ironic because Kamara didn't really do much this week. We'll get to that in a second, obviously. But Sanders still was very much so outpaced by Chuba. Chuba had 16 carries. Miles was 6. Miles was a lot more effective, average 6.5 to Hubbard's 3.6. Sanders did see 3 receptions on 5 targets, so that's good. I'm still not like on Miles Sanders. I'm not going to say start him. That's just kind of a risky play this week. I'd like to see more. Obviously, Chuba is still getting the lion's share back there, or whatever you want to define the lion's share as, because he saw 6 targets himself. Yeah. So I'm out on Miles Sanders right now, guys. He should be on your bench. Chuba, I mean, how do you view Chuba? Do you think he's a starting guy? Like, I mean, we got so to go through the buys, sort of, we got DeAndre Swift on bye, Mostert, all those Miami backs on bye, Los Angeles Rams are on bye, and then we got Pacheco on bye. So a good amount of running backs on bye that people are looking forward to using. That's for sure.
Mm-hmm.
So, I mean, Chuba, I guess, is in play certainly. Always touchdown potential there, and he's a solid runner.
Yeah.
I'm just, he's a flex play, I guess. I'll say that he's a flex play, especially with the volume he's seeing right now.
Exactly. Yeah, I mean, I would go ahead and flex him if I had to. As you said, favorable matchup. If he can get some receiving work, that'd be nice for him. If Miles Sanders is still the RB2 there, I like Chuba. And just trending over the past couple of weeks, we've seen Sanders really take a step back. So I would maintain faith in Chuba for, this next week coming up against Chicago. And then just kind of gauge it from there.
Yeah, absolutely. I agree. So I like Adam Thielen in this one. I just think the Bears are a somewhat exploitable defense on the back end. They're actually kind of middle of the pack in terms of what they allow in terms of fantasy points. They do allow a lot of touchdowns. They're 4th most touchdowns allowed with 10, so tied in that category for 4th. They do allow a lot of receptions, but their yardage total is actually pretty low. They're middle of the pack in that stat, but I like Adam Thielen in this one. I think that's the only guy I would recommend like a hard start on. Obviously, you're starting him. So outside of that, though, this Panthers offense does not excite me. We'll get to that in a second when we get to our game review. Miles Sanders is the only guy that I'm really looking for. Or not Miles Sanders. Adam Thielen, guys. Adam Thielen. Sorry. I will say the Bears are not good. They're the worst team against tight ends. So there's such a mix there with Tommy Tremble and Hayden Hurst, though. It's kind of like it's almost like Everett and Parham in a sense. You're kind of gauging at who's going to get the touchdown or who's going to get some volume. Yeah. So there's injuries at tight end. There's buys, obviously. Travis Kelce's on bye. Goddard's hurt and on bye. Who's the other team that's on bye? I mean, the Miami's on bye, but that's not killer. Tyler Higbee's on bye. So if you want to send your shot, maybe we'll find some other streamers for you on our preview. But yeah, so on Chicago's side, it's just as messy to me. DJ Moore's the only guy I'm saying start.
Yeah.
Carolina does not have a good run defense, but who do you play? Like Foreman, Herbert, and Roschon. Like it's a mess back there. Obviously, you're not starting Badgett. Cole Kmet should certainly be starting, though. He's been a beast. He's been an absolute monster the last few weeks.
Yeah.
So I like Kmet. I think either of these defenses you can start. I just don't think it's going to be a good game. I do think this, and we'll get to this in a second, too. Chicago's offense has looked better than I think what we've expected with Badgett in.
Mm-hmm.
So I'd probably lean to start Chicago's defense before I start Panthers. But yeah, guys, so the only hard starts I'm saying in this one overall, Adam Thielen, DJ Moore, Cole Kmet. Those are the 3 guys. Outside of that, it is a mess. I'm not even going to try to gauge it. I'm out on those guys. Chuba is a flex play if you need it. I don't mind that.
Okay.
But outside of that, hard starts, those 3 guys. So, starting us off?
Yes. I am going to start off this week of review. Oh.
Yeah.
What is that?
Where are you going, Sonny?
We're still tied?
Yeah,
Okay. I had no
one?
clue what you were. Okay. We're talking game picks here. Okay, I blacked out for a second.
So we both went 10-4 this past week.
Yeah.
So guys, if you need game picks,
It's a tie. We're tied still.
yes, we are still tied at 87 and 49 on the season. We're balling, bro.
I think I'm done picking the Rams. I think I'm done picking the Patriots.
You misled me on the Falcons this week. I'll say that.
I did. I thought I knew what Arthur Smith was up to, but apparently CJ Stroud had other plans.
Facts.
I still like the Falcons just as a questionable team. But all right, anyways, my pick here is gonna be. These are two terrible teams.
Tell me, bro.
I mean, I could be out there playing, tight end for someone.
I feel you.
I'll go. I'll go with the Bears.
Yeah. That's where I'm going with this one. I
Yeah.
just think they have a better squad right now.
Right. When I just think about the stars and who can make plays, you got DJ Moore, Cole Kmet, Justin Fields if he plays as a playmaker.
Right.
Whereas Bryce Young hasn't really done that.
Yeah.
And then you got Thielen, but that's really it.
Right.
If you want to call Hayden Hurst a playmaker, I think you're kind of stretching a little bit.
Yeah. No, I agree. We're on the same page.
Cool.
All right. Just kick you off with the international game review. Dolphins and the Kansas City Chiefs. So I watched this one. A bit of an odd game. So KC went into halftime up 21-0. Both defenses were playing well. Just a few mishaps from Miami. Both offenses looked way out of sorts. So we start with Miami here, the losing team. Tua, he looked very uncomfortable in the pocket. Looked rushed. I didn't like what I saw out of him, but a very pedestrian stat line this week. Mostert, though, was probably the highlight of this team. I'll say he was probably the best offensive player out there. 12 for 85 and a touchdown. Did not see any receiving work outside of one target, which he failed to haul in. But Mostert, I mean, he heavily outpaced everyone else in that Miami backfield. So I think we've kind of gotten our answers for now until Achane comes back. Obviously, Miami's on bye this week. So I think until Achane comes back, Mostert's clearly the lead guy. So I think we can kind of figure that out now.
Yeah, and I think that they're both going to be startable.
Yes.
Once Achane comes back. I also think that Jeff Wilson and Salman Ahmed now split the role that Salman Ahmed had in the beginning of the season.
Right, I agree.
So I don't think that they're going to eat into the Mostert-Achane combo.
Like, bro, Mostert keeps proving.
Yeah.
Like, he's explosive. He finds the end zone. Like, he keeps proving himself.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, they can't see him at this point.
Right.
They got to give him at least 10 to 12 carries a game.
Yeah, I totally agree. So, receiving-wise for Miami guys, Tyreek Hill finished with 12 points this week. Very underwhelming. Obviously, talked a lot of trash to his former team. Did not show up. Had a few dropped passes, too. So, that did not look good. 8 for 62 and 10 targets. He's still elite in terms of volume. You're starting him every week. It's not a question. Just a very disappointing week. Had the strip fumble that got returned for a touchdown on a really cool play from Kansas City. They actually lateraled it to another guy who took it all the way. So that was really cool to see. But, yeah, Tyreek, not his greatest week. Not what you were hoping for as a fantasy manager. Jalen Waddle left the game early, came back, saw 6 targets, so second on the team, but only hauled in 3 for 42. So underwhelming there. This offense as a whole was very underwhelming outside of Raheem Mostert.
Yeah, so I kind of saw this coming, not to blow my own whistle, but I guess it's time to make a call. I did say to sit Tua, so if you listened to that advice, if you had the balls to listen to me, that was a good sit this week. This Dolphins team is unproven, in my opinion. As an elite team, they're very unproven. Now, are they talented? Yes.
They have a very interesting schedule, I'm pretty sure. So they play the Raiders after their bye.
Okay, so they should beat the Raiders.
They play the Jets. They have the Jets twice on the schedule still. I think they split.
I think they split.
I think they split because I think that Jets defense is legit.
It's so legit.
They play the Commanders. That's a W.
Yeah.
They're gonna. That's the type of team that they just beat.
Right.
So, and then they play the Titans. I think they win that.
Mm-hmm.
But then they end the season. Cowboys, Ravens, Bills.
Yeah, I don't think they beat the Cowboys or the Ravens.
That's a tough one, bro. And this is interesting because I was looking at this earlier today before I left to come here. That entire AFC North division is 5-3 or better. Obviously, the Ravens on top at 7-2. The Dolphins are 6-3, and Buffalo's 5-4.
Mm-hmm.
And obviously, if Buffalo, they beat the Dolphins earlier, if they beat them again, like that'd be huge. If they come in same records, something like that.
Oh yeah, that game's gonna be massive.
And the Dolphins play the Ravens right before that, so that's gonna be big.
So that's to be determined.
Yeah, that's January 7th, but time is to be determined.
So I guess we can just go into this. I'm gonna look at the playoff picture right now, and I want you to predict who's gonna be in it.
Okay, yeah, I was, dude. Read my mind, bro. I was literally on the way here, like, we got to do this. I was literally thinking that's crazy. Okay, we're jumping into it early though.
Okay, so.
Right. So read off like the top 7. Who's in?
So right now, Kansas City's in at 7-2.
They get the bye.
They get the bye. Baltimore is in at 7-2. Jacksonville's in at 6-2. Miami's in at 6-3. Pittsburgh at 5-3. Cleveland at 5-3. Bengals at 5-3.
That's insane.
And then you got. So those are the 3 wild cards right now.
So all 3 wild cards come from the AFC North.
Yeah. So that whole division's in right now. Yeah. And then you got the Bills out of the race at 5-4. The Texans out of the race at 4-4. The Chargers out of the race at 4-4. To me, the only serious contenders here are the Bills and Chargers.
You don't think Houston's legit?
I don't think they're a serious contender.
I want to see Houston's schedule though. So they play. So they play the Bengals next week, the Cardinals, Jacksonville, Denver, the Jets, Tennessee, Cleveland, Tennessee, Indy.
Okay, so they
have a pretty favorable schedule, but they play Cleveland and Cincy.
Right, and Jacksonville. And those are all teams that...
But those AFC South games, I don't even want to try and predict. But anyways, so...
Those are all games that are going to be huge.
Yeah. So, there's a path for sure. I see it. But, so I'm going to say... Obviously, those top 3 are making it. That's for sure.
Yeah.
I think Cincy makes it. I really like what I'm seeing from Cincy right now.
Cincy's going to make it. 0-2 in the division, which...
Yeah, so they've lost to Cleveland and Pittsburgh?
Yes. They could end up... Pittsburgh? Yeah, it was. They could end up... Dude, they could end up, like, running the table, honestly. Or, maybe, like, one loss.
They're insane. Like, I really think they're going to be really good.
Yeah.
So, Cincy... So, those are my 4. Obviously, Baltimore, I think, is going to win that division. That's how it looks right now, at least.
Right.
I think Miami's going to get in just based on, they have some easy wins coming up. I think they'll pull out some tough ones. That would be my 5th. I think Cleveland makes it. I think they have a very stout team.
Okay.
I know that's a little bit of a surprise probably. So they're my 6th.
Cincy. So now we got...
So Cleveland has Baltimore and Pittsburgh their next 2 games. So I see them going 1-1. I think that's how those games kind of work themselves out. Broncos, Rams, that's dubs. Jags, that's going to be a really good game. That's in Cleveland. That's going to be a hell of a game.
Yeah.
And then they play the Bears. That's a dub.
Hey guys, fantasy question: should I trade Kenneth Walker for Bijan?
Yes, in my opinion.
Yeah, I would.
So both of these running backs are coming off of really down stretches right now. Obviously, what we saw from Seattle was really bad. Bijan is not getting the exact workload we thought, but I think Bijan has a higher ceiling than Kenneth Walker does. I like Bijan. I'm gonna do something for you here real quick, but George, I don't think we've seen you on here before, bro. So I'm gonna go ahead and say welcome.
All right, welcome to the pod.
Thanks for checking us out. Thanks for asking questions. Would love that. So I'm just trying to check out schedule for each of them. So Bijan still has his bye. Kenneth has already had his. So Bijan's schedule, playoff schedule, is Carolina, Indy, and Chicago. I like that schedule.
That's awesome.
He does see New Orleans, the Jets, and Tampa Bay before that, so that's pretty rough. But he sees Arizona next week. So then let's go to Kenneth. So Walker plays Washington this week, then the Rams, then San Fran, Dallas, San Fran again. San Fran's not actually that good, but I think they're going to get better, so I don't really like that. Philly, Tennessee, Pittsburgh. Yeah, I would definitely trade for Bijan based off of what I would think is how these guys are trending and also that schedule. I like Bijan more. I would even throw a little something extra in if you have to.
You have to think at some point Bijan becomes the featured guy there.
Yeah, bro. It's
the way
ridiculous.
they called it. So they get down to they're on the goal line, right? They take out Bijan, and then give a sweep to Johnny Smith.
That's
on the
crazy.
1 yard line, and then they pass attempt and miss to Johnny Smith, and then they run an outside run with Tyler Algier. Like, you got to think at some point that's just Bijan right up the gut, easy touchdown. Right?
Why are you drafting a guy 8 overall to not use him?
Yeah. So
I mean, same with Kyle Pitts, but so we've seen this story before. But
Bijan is definitely frustrating, but you have to think at some point he only gets better.
Yeah. So back to playoffs. So my 7th team, because I really like the Browns, what I'm seeing. So it's between the Steelers, the Bills, and the Texans. Base. I gotta go with the Bills. I think Pittsburgh falls out. Obviously with a winning record still, but I like the Bills getting in. I think they find their way in.
Okay.
So KC, Baltimore, Jacksonville, Miami, Cleveland, Cincy, and Buffalo. So I'm knocking out Pittsburgh, throwing in Buffalo right now.
So the way I think obviously KC, obviously Baltimore, obviously Jacksonville.
Yeah, those top 3 are.
I think that the Bengals make it, the Bills make it, and I think the Chargers make it. I might be a little bit biased, and we've had some soft matchups, but the way we were playing last night was a different intensity that you don't usually.
Zach Wilson.
Yes, but the intensity was there. Like, you don't usually see that in the Chargers.
So y'all play the Lions, Packers. That's 1-1. Ravens. I don't want to count y'all out on that one. I actually think that's a really interesting game. Patriots. So let's say 2-2. Broncos 3-2. Raiders 4-2. Ooh, Bills Chargers.
Bills Chargers is gonna be huge.
Let's say 4-3, 5-3. 5-4, but I think I'll pull another one out. So I want to say 6-3.
Yeah, I think.
So what would that put y'all at? 10-7.
10-7.
Yeah, so that'll be interesting. Yeah, I mean I don't mind the pick.
Like, I don't know. I think we're a much more talented team than like the Steelers. Yeah. I don't think that the Steelers are gonna make it.
You don't think Cleveland's gonna make it? I don't know. Cleveland's scary to me, bro.
I lean no, but yeah, dude. When Myles Garrett's fine, it's scary for sure.
So
I don't know.
That's our thoughts on the AFC, guys.
Yeah,
we'll get to the NFC in a second, but
how it's going right now.
I'll wrap up this game. So KC, Mahomes only 185 yards, 2 touchdowns. Pedestrian game for Mahomes. Also, he did not look good. Like, both of these defenses were playing very well. So Pacheco underwhelming again. Receiving, no one did anything really. Rashi had the touchdown on the opening drive and then only had one other target, which was a great catch from him. But like no one saw more than 5 targets, and that was Justin Watson. So even Travis Kelce only had 3 for 14 and 4 targets. So very underwhelming game all around. Pat also had the lost fumble. So just very underwhelming fantasy game from I think what both you and I expected coming in this one.
I didn't expect the Dolphins to be too great, to be honest.
I thought they'd be solid. I thought the Chiefs would win pretty firmly, but I thought it'd be a higher scoring game. I thought each team would easily get over 20 points.
Over-under was, what, 50?
Yeah, it was 50.5.
Yeah. I was thinking under, but I think this was even lower than what you would expect if you picked under.
So, next game, guys. So, that was a game we both got right. This is a game we both got wrong. Carter misled me, deceived me. Shame on you. Minnesota came into Atlanta, guys, got the W. The magic of Josh Dobbs continues, and we're loving it. So I'll start with the victors on this one. So Josh Dobbs came in. Jaron Hall got a concussion. Hope he's well. Obviously, we'll have to see him play out. Josh Dobbs is the starting quarterback, though. No doubt about it. Finished with an 86.6 QBR. So 100 is, like, perfect. 86.6. So the first few drives were pretty rough. But after that, dude, he got things moving. Like, 3 total touchdowns, 66 yards on the ground, 158 through the air, 20 for 30. I love it, bro. I absolutely love it. So Cam Akers, torn Achilles. Madison is the guy. 16 carries, 44 yards, not a good average, but did see 2 targets. Got the 47-yard touchdown, which was very good for him. Hawkinson led 7 for 69, 12 targets. So that's kind of what I expect from here on out, is for a dominant target share for him versus, Addison's still going to get second most targets, obviously. I just see Hawkinson leading it. I think that's the comfort. We saw that with Ertz and then Trey McBride the last few weeks there in Arizona. So I like that for Hawkinson. Addison is still a start in my eyes. Outside of that, though, I'm not intrigued by anything. But great catch by Brandon Powell to win that game. Atlanta side of things, guys. I mean, Heineke looked all right. So being a Washington fan, obviously saw a lot of Taylor Heineke. He's just, he's a spark plug. He's going to make some plays, but he's just not – there's a reason he's not a starting quarterback.
Yeah.
He's just not – he can only be so good. So I'm not looking to stream him at all. Bijan, again, as Carter just highlighted, this is really confusing. Algier had 12 carries, Bijan 11. I don't know why. Algier got the touchdown as well. Bijan he saw 4 targets, had 2 receptions. I don't understand it. I really don't. And then receiving wise, Jonnu had a monster game, 5 for 100 with a touchdown. Obviously, Drake London out in this one, so that helped everyone else. But Kyle Pitts is someone else. Yeah, but he had 9.6 points. That's not like a full bust from a tight end.
Okay, he didn't poop it, but you busted.
Yeah, I guess. I won't count it as a bust, but you can take it.
I do.
Bijan also lost a fumble. So, I don't know, guys. With this Bijan situation, it is just really hairy. I'm not liking it. I would probably trade for Bijan, though. I do think he's a bit of a buy low. It's just very – I know a Bijan owner would be very frustrated. I don't own him in anything, but I know he would be very frustrating. You hit on quite a few of your –
Tank Dell, bro.
Yeah.
He went nuts.
Yeah. Donald Parham did not go nuts. So, Tua was your bust. Who else were your bust? Madison.
He went off. JSN, that was a bust.
Yep.
Kyle Pitts was a bust.
He wasn't.
Yes, he was.
Packers had a good game.
Hunt versus Cardinals.
He did all right.
Yeah.
So moving to our next game, guys, which is Kareem Hunt against the Cardinals. Very fitting. Kareem Hunt against the Cardinals. So a goose egg in this one, guys. A defensive shutout from the Browns. 27-0. Browns move on to 5-3. The Cardinals are 1-8. Clayton Tune did not look good. Had a 1.6 QBR. So things are rough there. Kyler Murray's coming back. Hopefully rejuvenate this offense a little bit. No one did anything in this one. Absolutely nothing. I don't think there's anything more to say there. Literally nothing happened. But with Kyler Murray back in, I think the guys that you can start are kind of obvious with Marquise Brown and Trey McBride. I like both of them moving forward with Kyler Murray. As long as Murray's in, I think you can go ahead and start both of them. We saw what Dobbs was able to accomplish, but outside of that.
That's what I'll be doing.
it was just a feast from this team. Very, very not a good day.
Yeah.
Very much so. On the other hand, Deshaun Watson came back and had a solid game. 22 yards rushing, 219 through the air, roughly 66% completion percentage, and 2 touchdowns. So, not a great day, not an awful day. What you like to see. So, Jerome Ford, this is probably the most interesting thing from this game. Jerome Ford, guys, 20 carries, averaged 2.2 yards per carry. So, not very efficient. Kareem Hunt did see the touchdown, saw 14 carries, but also was not efficient. Less than 3 yards carry for him. Jerome Ford had 5 receptions. We have seen him get receiving work, so that is saving his fantasy day. He had 8.3 points off of his receptions. Obviously, adding the 4 other points in, had roughly 12 points. So that's good if you're a Ford owner, I guess. But that's kind of what I see him as now. If he's not scoring touchdowns, he's going to get, those low double-digit totals, in my opinion.
Yeah.
I'm not a Jerome Ford guy. I think that's kind of obvious after the past few streams we've had.
Right.
Amari Cooper, on the other hand, dude. That's what you and I love to see.
Mm-hmm. 25 points almost.
Yeah. David Njoku, good day. I think you said starting Njoku this week.
Yeah.
I think we both did.
Yeah.
So, good on us. But, yeah. So, Amari Cooper, guys, a monster game, was 5 for 5, 139 yards and a touchdown. So, I love to see that from Amari. Amari and Keenan are our guys. If you knew anything, if you guys were watching us before the season, those were our guys. So, very happy to see Amari succeeding. Obviously, a lot of things change with Deshaun Watson in the lineup. So, like to see that. So, that was an easy one. Both of us got that right. Probably the most obvious game of the weekend. One we both got absolutely wrong, and I don't know why we went with the backup quarterback in this one. I think we
when we picked, it was kind of still up in the air.
Yeah. So we, but I feel like we kind of changed that one, but whatever. We didn't split on it, so.
Right. Yeah. It doesn't matter.
So guys, the Rams put up 3 points. That's the game we're talking about. The Rams Packers. Packers still didn't look very good, but they came away with the 20-3 W. Royce Freeman, this was my projection. Royce Freeman did get the bulk of the carries, only being 12-10 though in terms of him and Henderson. Freeman was slightly more effective, but Green Bay, you're stacking the box against a backup quarterback like that, so I wasn't looking to start either of them. I think I recall calling both of them a hard sit. So receiving wise, guys, this just was not a pretty game. I will say the 3 main receivers for the Rams all had 7 targets, so that's still we know where the ball is going in this offense.
Yeah.
I don't think that's so I won't say any of these guys had disappointing weeks relative to the situation. So obviously underwhelming because of who they are, but outside of that, I'm not tripping on any of it.
Mm-hmm.
So moving to Green Bay though. Jordan Love still doesn't look great. Only had 6 incompletions. Had a good average in terms of yards per attempt. Had a touchdown. Also had 7 yards on the ground. So not a great week, but it's not happening, bro.
Yeah,
it's not happening. Really but yeah, so the Rams do have a good defense, but this Packers offense just was not moving like we wanted them to. I will say Aaron Jones, they finally figured out. They have this guy named Aaron Jones on their team, and they should probably use him.
Yep.
So they did give him 20 carries, thankfully, 6 targets, 4 receptions, 26 through the air, 73 on the ground, and a touchdown. I love to see it. I don't know about you. I love to see it.
I like to watch him.
And it's kind of ironic because A.J. Dillon actually had 4 yards of carry, which is his highest total that I can recall. But yeah, so great for Aaron Jones. Great for Aaron Jones owners if you stuck it out with him. I know I forget who, but one of our guys traded for him. I feel like it was either Random Kid or Chandler. It was one of those two. I feel like.
Oh, yep.
Yeah, so they're happy. If they see this later, we'll have to mention that. But receiving guys, it's as messy as you could expect it to be. Jaden Reed with 3 targets, 3 receptions. Aaron Jones 6-4. Romeo Doubs 3-3. Christian Watson 2-1. Dontavian Wicks 4-4. Musgrave 4-3. Got the touchdown though. Yeah. So it's just this is what I was afraid of. Even though this can be a good thing for the actual team, this is was my worst nightmare projecting this team. is that everyone sees 3 to 6 targets.
Right.
And no one, it's who gets the touchdown.
Mm.
So I don't know how to project that moving forward because no one stands out from the pack here.
Yeah.
Obviously, with Jones back in the fold now, he's going to get receiving work. That's the type of back he is. So that doesn't help. And then you got all these guys healthy. Musgrave's back in the lineup. Musgrave's been great. He's probably my highest stock, personally, out of him, Dobbs, Watson, and Jaden Reed. I'd probably be more confident with Luke Musgrave than any of them.
Like if I had to start any of them on a given week,
I'd start Musgrave over any of them. I'm not confident in any of those receivers. In terms of producing, they're good receivers. But in terms of getting fantasy production out of them, dude, that's a swing and a miss in my opinion.
Yeah.
So, yeah, that's rough. So, Aaron Jones had a fumble loss. So did Dontavian Wicks. But, yeah, guys, so if you're a receiving owner in this, if you got any shares of that Dobbs is definitely a sell high coming off those previous weeks, but that's gone. That's gone with the wind, in my opinion.
No one wants him anymore.
Yeah, right. He just doesn't have the name either. So
right.
Yeah. So if you guys have receivers, I would not have them in my lineup. That's for sure. Moving to our next game though, my ex-Commanders got the W in New England. One we got wrong also. Was definitely looking down on them. So I think it's safe to say, dude, Sam Howell is the guy.
Yeah.
Like he's a beast. He's second in yardage right now.
He's a good quarterback.
Yes. Might still be a fan. You guys might see the book up here tomorrow, maybe not. You know what I'm talking about.
Dude, I was thinking about it. I mean, obviously it's your choice, and I've had a lot of input on what I think your choice should be. But my new input on your choice should be the Texans, bro.
Texans. I did say
this
whoever
would be
wins.
A great time to become a Texans fan.
I did say whoever wins between the Ravens and Seahawks will determine my fate.
Oh, true.
But Houston was in my list.
Yes.
I have to give it a few more weeks. I'm in no rush. I'm a free agent. It's whoever wants me the most.
True.
So Sam Howell, guys, great game from him. Goes against Seattle actually next week. So I think Howell is a guy that if you don't have like a firm start at your quarterback, Sam Howell, I have no issue starting him. Like he's getting the volume. Obviously second in the league in passing yards. I like it.
Yeah, I think Nate's been starting him on a weekly basis at this point.
I like it.
It's been doing him well.
Yep, sure has. So Brian Robinson, guys, finally got a good bulk of carries, 18 carries, 63 yards and a touchdown. Did see one reception off of 2 targets, but Antonio Gibson, I kind of want to highlight, had 6 rushes for 34 yards, so very efficient on the ground, albeit, lower volume. He's QB6.
That's crazy.
So what are his, past... So since Chicago, because I know he had a big... Or we can go since Philly, I guess, week 4. So he had 21 against Philly, 29, 24, a stinker against the Giants, which pisses me off. 38 against Philly.
So basically,
and then 19 against New England.
Basically 20 points or more in the 5 of the last 6 games.
So I mean, really, outside of his 2 bad games, he's been very startable. He's been startable in every single game outside of the massacre that happened against Buffalo and then the terrible team game against the Giants. But he's been startable in every single game besides those.
He does it with the rushing, which really helps.
Yeah, he gets you solid rushing yards, that's for sure. So Brian Robinson, Antonio Gibson. Gibson had 5 targets, caught all of them for 42 yards. So he had a solid day. I'd be interested moving forward. I feel like he was kind of a weapon that you and I were looking forward to kind of getting some better usage coming into this season.
Yep.
Kind of the Jerick McKinnon role. That's what we were saying. So he's had 2 solid weeks back to back. Obviously 9 points is nothing spectacular, but had 12 this last week. Definitely getting himself on the radar, I'll say. So, receiving-wise, Terry had 5 for 7 on 73. Jahan Dotson, 2 touchdowns back-to-back weeks. 4. He actually led the team in targets with 8. So, it's kind of starting to roll. I like Dotson and McLaurin kind of coexisting here. There's no, I think with Samuel out too, that has to be noted. With Samuel out though, it certainly helps. Byron Pringle seemed to slot in as the 3rd guy, besides Logan Thomas. So Thomas is obviously a good start at tight end, but outside of that, I like McLaurin and Dotson moving forward. I think this team is trending up. What we've seen the last 2 weeks.
So do you think Dotson has earned himself a flex spot consistently? Because I think McLaurin's always been a wide receiver 2 flex.
Yeah.
Like
he's kind of a low end wide receiver too. I think that's what we have to mark him at.
But it's been hard to sit a
which
guy
is
like that.
really weird considering Howell's second in yardage. You'd think Terry would be having a great year, but
no touchdowns.
He's 2 on the season, 568 yards. So it's confusing. Has been inconsistent. Still yet to see 100 yards in a game. So that's where that stands. That's that kind of paints the picture for you. But
so would you trade for Dotson with McLaurin, or would you trade? Like, what side of the trade would you be on? Who would you be more confident starting?
Terry.
Going forward, Terry. Okay. Same.
I would sell Dotson right now.
Okay.
Personally, I would sell Dotson high after his 2 big weeks.
Okay, I don't mind it.
Yeah. I
actually kind of like it.
So Patriots side of things, guys, I had Mac Jones as my top sleeper, I think, at quarterback. I don't know. He didn't do it. Didn't work out. That didn't work out, guys. Ramondre, though, a very efficient day. 9 rushes only, but 87 yards, a touchdown. 4 for 42 through the air. So a classic Ramondre game in my eyes. Obviously, would like to see those carries come up. We're kind of playing from behind, though, hence why Mac had 44 attempts. But, yeah, so Ramondre was obviously had the 64-yard touchdown, which makes it look a lot better because outside of that, he had eight carries for 23 yards. So, less than 3 yards to carry on those rushes outside of that. But the receiving work was there, 6 targets, so it is what it is. Demario Douglas. So this is probably a guy that a lot of people are wanting to hear about. We had a lot of Douglas questions coming into this week and on Sunday. I think we had like 2 or 3 guys ask about Demario.
Yeah.
So he had 7 targets, tied with Juju and Hunter Henry for the lead on the team. Saw 5 receptions, was second to Juju with 6, and led the team in yards with 55 to Juju's 51. So I do think Demario Douglas can warrant some flex play. I'm just not sold on him. I feel like people were thinking he's gonna be this easily startable guy, and I don't understand where that.
You gotta get him.
Yeah, I think we ruled against him every single person that asked us. And I mean, he had 10.5 points, which is solid, but that's not make or break for your team this week.
Who was the question that we had him against? And I'm pretty sure the other guy outperformed him. It was Demario Douglas, or I don't think it was Tank Dell. It was Quentin Johnson, right? Yeah, it was Demario Douglas or QJ. So I mean, he might have. Well. Yeah, he might have done better than QJ this week.
Yeah. So we definitely messed up on that, but I think there was another guy that asked that had 2 people in a 1 o'clock game. So I forget what it was, but yeah. So I mean, he's gonna get volume, and he's probably the most talented receiver on this roster. But we're talking the Patriots here, guys. I mean, he's gonna have some boom weeks. I'm not gonna deny that. I certainly think he will. He's just going to be a hard guy to pinpoint when you start him, when you not. I mean, obviously against Matt, play the matchups, no doubt about that.
Yeah.
But,
he's a guy I'd be happy to have on my bench, and just if you need him.
Right, yeah. I view him as that.
Also, just for the people that are first watching, we're talking 12-man here.
Yeah.
So the deeper you go, the more playable I think he is.
Yeah, I mean, even in 14, I would be inclined to flex him.
Yeah.
I think,
Yeah.
But,
12-man
no. So outside of that, guys, nothing substantial. Hunter Henry seems to stick around, though. I will say that. Got the touchdown, 7 targets, 4 receptions, 39 yards. So Commanders came out with a W on that one. Props to them. This was a weird one. This was a really. Did you track this game much?
Yeah.
I was tracking it because I was waiting for Kamara to explode, which obviously didn't happen for one reason or another. But so we'll start with the Bears. The Bears were moving the ball.
Mm-hmm.
Obviously had quite a few turnovers, had 2 fumbles and 3 picks. So, yeah.
You're not gonna win a game.
Do with that what you will. Badgett did have 70 rushing yards, 220 yards to the air, and 2 touchdowns. So he had 4 turnovers, which takes away 8 points from his production. Still had a solid day nonetheless, especially if you're playing the 6-point touchdowns like us for quarterbacks. But Deontay Foreman got lion's share. Roshan only saw 2 rushes and 1 target. So Deontay Foreman, although 20 carries, only put up 8.3 points, no receptions, no touchdowns. Obviously, that hurts him. So that's going to be really, that's probably the most interesting thing of this Chicago team outside of Justin Fields moving forward is what does the rushing look like with Herbert back in the fold?
I like Foreman with 20 carries. I think you should stay at 15 plus carries.
Dude,
you shouldn't like.
You know where we stand on this. Like, if you're watching this, you should know where we stand, and both you and I know where each other stand.
Yeah, there should be a rule where you have to feed him.
If you have Deontay Foreman on your team,
you have to rush him 15 times.
But he's rushing 15 times. Like, he better be. All right. We always go on a Foreman tangent every week. You just got to you guys got to give us like 45 seconds to get it all out. There it is. So Darnell Mooney was actually the leading receiver this week. 5 for 82. Not really surprising to me. I've always liked Darnell. It's just a matter of consistency. We've seen him put up 1,000 yards before. Doing that in a Chicago offense in and of itself is an amazing feat.
Yeah.
But I've always liked Darnell. I think he's a talented guy, explosive guy. It's just playing on Chicago is never favorable. So Cole Kmet. This guy should be in your lineups.
Mm-hmm.
Safe to say. I don't care who's at quarterback. Cole Kmet is in your lineup. He's had 2 monster back-to-back weeks. Interested to see where does he rank in tight end? Because he's had back-to-back weeks with 2 touchdowns, right?
Yeah, I think he's tight end 4.
Tight end 5 behind Laporta. Come on, man, don't kid yourself. So yeah, I mean he's at 17 and 23 back-to-back. So no, he did not have 2 touchdowns last week. He had 2 touchdowns earlier in the year against Denver, but he had 10 for 79 last week. But, yeah, so he's only 2 points behind Laporta, believe it or not. Has 1 more touchdown and only 2 less receptions, 60 less yards. So, good production out of Kmet. I like it. I like it a lot. So, DJ Moore, obviously, a bust day. But, yeah, moving forward, he's fine.
What did it do, Scooby-Doo? What's up, Chandler?
What's up, Chandler? Chandler, we were wondering this. Were you the guy that traded for Aaron Jones, or was that someone else? Let us know. We were talking about Aaron Jones earlier. If it was you, I know you're happy, but let us know if that was you or not. Derek Carr, solid game, nothing crazy. 211 through the air and 2 touchdowns, nothing crazy. Like I said, solid completion percentage. The Saints' offense was not as productive as what you and I were both envisioning. Taysom led with 11 carries. Kamara only had 9. Kamara was not efficient. Now, this Bears defense is good against the actual run, but they allow a lot of receiving work, which is why Kamara was projected in like all formats. Did you propose the Adams deal?
It never went through.
Yeah.
And now I'm happy it didn't.
Anyways, yeah, so Jamal Williams only had 3 carries. He's not much of a force right now. Kamara had 4 receptions, so he was the second leading receiver in this offense with 4 for 44, 5 targets, tied with Jawan Johnson and Taysom Hill for the second most targets. So Taysom Hill had a touchdown through the air and receiving. Saw a pass, 11 carries, and 4 receptions on 5 targets. I'm pulling my hair out. You're happy.
Yep.
I can't stand the guy. He's a great talent. I just can't stand the guy.
Dude, I'm so pissed you talked me into Trey McBride over.
I did.
You're like, long term, I think it's Trey McBride.
Why would you listen to me about Taysom Hill, though? You know I'm going to lean whatever the other option is. So, Kamara, guys, was definitely a bust this week. Very disappointing. Very frustrating. I expect his touches to return to what we've been seeing, though. It was just a really weird day for the Saints offense. Chris Olave, 6 for 46 and a touchdown.
Got his touchdown.
Carter's happy. Everyone's happy. Everyone's happy. Outside of that, Michael Thomas 0-0-1.
I'm even more happy.
I guess I don't know what happened there. Rashid Shaheed 3 receptions, 3 for 22 yards. That's a bit odd. Usually we're used to 3 for 100 yards, but
Michael Thomas can't keep it up for a whole season. Come on now.
Yeah. This was a weird game. Mm-hmm. This was a very weird game. I did not watch it, but I was tracking on my phone, watching play-by-play. Very, very weird game.
Did you see?
I'll leave it at that.
That Taysom Hill is now the second guy at
10-10-10.
10-10-10.
Yeah. I mean, I gotta give him his props. I just can't stand the guy.
I'm hyped about this one, bro.
An absolute beatdown, guys.
Start Burrow versus the Titans.
Versus the Texans.
Versus the Texans could be a shootout, I think. Or Fields Thursday night versus the crap Panthers D. Hate playing people on Thursday, but it feels like Fields 35-plus points week to me.
I'm going to be quick with this one. I'm a Fields owner also. I'm going Burrow.
I'm going Burrow.
Yeah. And Fields isn't even a lock to play yet. So, yeah, I'm going Burrow, bro. The Bengals are on the upswing. Texans are clearly on the upswing. Could be a shootout, as you're saying. I like Burrow in this situation.
I also wouldn't mind. Yeah, since you have Burrow, I don't see a situation where you sit him.
Yeah, especially right now. This team is hot.
Regardless of
Yes.
matchups.
So, a big beatdown, guys. The Ravens, 37-3. So, if you're leading your division in the NFC and you're going against the Ravens, it's not going to be pretty.
Yeah.
I think that's safe to say right now.
Back-to-back smackdowns.
Yeah, so Geno not good. I'll make this quick. Geno not good. Kenneth Walker not good. JSN had 6 for 63, actually, so he did not bust. But, nonetheless. DK did not have the game I said he was going to have. He had 1 reception for 50 yards on 4 targets. Lockett had 3 for 32 on 8 targets, led the team in targets. So, I don't know what to make of the Seattle offense right now. I'm not liking what I'm seeing. They go against Washington, which is a bit of a mystery. So, projecting that when we talk about it is going to be really hard for me. But, yeah, nothing was good. Everything bundled up, throw it in the trash.
Mm-hmm.
Like, it just was not pretty.
Scratch that game. If we're going to allow the Lions to scratch it, I think we allow
we allow Seattle. See how they play at home against Washington. That'll be a true indicator because Washington is a sneaky team right now. I feel like with the offense is flowing, if they can get their defense in check, that sort of thing, it'd be a sneaky win for Washington. But if Seattle can hold things down, going back to the Northwest, that'll tell me a lot. Did Lamar get hurt, or did they just sit him? They sat him.
Yeah, I mean they weren't playing him much, but also they were just running the ball.
I was gonna say, if you told me that they won 37-3 and Lamar Jackson finished only with 187 passing yards and 60 rushing yards with no touchdowns,
he had like 11 points or something like that.
Yeah, and they put up 37. That's insane.
Yeah.
So guys, the storyline here is probably.
Let's go.
What?
Continue.
What? Keaton Mitchell?
Yeah.
Why?
He's about to be on my team.
Why?
Because I'm 12th ranked.
Okay.
So I get first waivers.
All right, I guess Carter's hyped about that. So, Keaton Mitchell, guys, 9 for 138 and a touchdown. Do y'all have my picks? I can't remember exactly what. We do not.
Oh.
I don't know is there any way to see that?
Yeah, I can go look at it real quick. I'll calculate that for you real quick.
Okay,
Chandler.
yeah. I'll chat a little bit. I don't know how you do
that.
But
Keaton Mitchell will be on my team, and I am hyped.
Yeah, so Keaton Mitchell had a big game, as I just said, 9 for 138 and a touchdown. Gus Edwards, 5 for 52, found the end zone twice. So I like Gus Edwards a lot, although he only saw 5 carries. It's really weird to me. I don't know why. Justice Hill saw 13. Justice Hill is not good in my opinion. Keaton Mitchell, though, could be a big boom guy. So let's see how that backfield plays out. Obviously, this guy's hyped. Anyways, moving to the receiving side of things, Mark Andrews, 9 for 80. 10 targets. I mean, Andrews does what Andrews does. Like,
okay.
This is not surprising.
Actually, see.
Oh, that's cool. That's cool. Anyways, sorry guys, got sidetracked. Odell Beckham caught the touchdown on his birthday, 5 for 56, 7 targets. Zay Flowers very disappointing this one, only 1 target. I'm gonna chalk that up, throw it out, just as I said about Seattle's entire performance. So Zay Flowers is a guy I really like season long. Odell, I think this is a bit of a fluke. What? Me by myself?
No.
Oh, Luke. Spamming. So Odell, guys, a great game. Props to him. He's not really on my fantasy radar right now. Oh, is that awkward? Yeah. So great game from Baltimore in all phases. I'll just leave it at that. I would.
Chandler, was that? That must have been our preview night.
That was Friday night.
Okay. So, yeah, this is during our preview.
Yeah.
So not Sleepers Bust Locks.
Yeah. Sleepers Bust Locks?
Was it?
Or no, it was in our no, you're right. Don't listen to me. I'm supposed to be doing something else. It was on our Wednesday night.
Oh, I'm on the wrong week. Okay. So it was...
This guy.
Thursday night review, Sleepers Bust Locks. No, it's week 9 in game picks.
Yes.
Okay.
All right, guys. Going to Carter's favorite game of the week. Houston came out 39-37, was putting up a stinker of a game going into halftime, dude. And they came out firing on all. Oh, we had it pinned sick.
Yeah. All right. So.
All right, Chandler.
So you had the All right, pick up. Do you remember everyone who won?
Yeah.
Okay, so Titans,
0-1.
Pats,
0-2.
Panthers.
0-3.
Chandler's not looking good. Giants.
0-4.
Chiefs.
1-4.
Ravens.
2-4.
Browns.
3-4.
Bucks.
3-5.
Bears.
If Fields is back. Okay, so we'll give it to him. 4-5.
Falcons.
4-6.
Rams.
4-7.
Cowboys.
4-8.
Bengals.
5-8.
Jets.
5-9. Woo, Chandler.
So guys, this is harder than it looks, you know?
Chandler, I'm sorry, man.
It's alright.
It's alright. You'll get him back next week.
Yeah. You can always bounce back.
We'd love to hear from you on Wednesday night, tomorrow night.
For sure.
Because we'll be giving our picks. We'd love to hear your picks as well. Hey, all that means is you got an opportunity to bounce back. Seize it.
Yeah.
That's all I can say. All right, so we'll start with the losing team on this one. Baker had himself a solid day. I got smoked. Hey, I didn't say it. You said it, bro. It started out like 0-4. I was like, damn, Chandler. But yeah, guys. So Baker had a solid game himself. Obviously, was not as good as the opposing quarterback. But Rashad White. Let's highlight this guy for a second, man. 20 carries. Like, we can erase all question marks about workload. Rashad White is the guy. 2 touchdowns, 73 yards. So not super efficient, but got the work. 4 receptions for 46. He had a monster week. I love seeing Rashad White eat. In the receiving game, Mike Evans was my bust, had 4 for 87, so he did not bust, I'll say. Not a great week, but, nonetheless. My streaming tight end of the week, Cade Otton. 6 for 70, 2 touchdowns, baby.
Nice.
No one else was notable. Chris Godwin busted. But, yeah, baby, Cade Otton, my guy. Came up strong, even though I took the L this week, guys. 6-3 now. I might still be first. I forget. I don't care. CJ Stroud, though. This guy's been trying to tell you. We've been telling you since, week 2?
Week 2, I think.
Week 2, we've been telling you. So, CJ Stroud, 30 for 42, 470 yards. How many touchdowns?
5.
5. I need a whole hand to count. Monster.
If you go back to my prediction before this week,
2 weeks ago.
Yeah, I had CJ Stroud as either the highest passing touchdowns or the highest passing yards. I should have just shifted that over to a week and then
we combined it.
Yeah.
Yeah, so CJ Stroud, guys, a monster week. Nothing to talk about on the ground. Noah Brown, 6 for 153 and a touchdown. Dalton Schultz, 10 for 130 and a touchdown. Tank Dell, 6 for 114 and 2 touchdowns. Nico, 3 for 54 and a touchdown. Whew, I'm tired.
Okay, see, so week 4. So after week 3, we were talking about CJ Stroud.
Okay. Gotcha. He's here to stay week 4. Gotcha.
Yeah.
So, guys, Dalton Schultz and Tank Dell both had 11 targets. Noah Brown had 6. I don't know why he's getting work. I'm just a Nico Collins owner, so I'm a anyone else hater on the Texans. But Nico Collins had the least targets out of the guys that scored touchdowns, so I don't know if that's concerning. His touches have been down a little bit over the last 2 weeks, but talented guy. To me, he's the number 1 there.
Yeah.
You got to think he's going to, he'll get his turn. But, props to all these guys. We've been on Dalton Schultz the last few weeks, too. He was definitely a start for us the last few weeks. Tank Dell, your sleeper. Noah Brown, I guess he's just, Robert Woods is out right now, so I don't know how that's going to look when he comes back. But Noah Brown, he's a low-end streamer to me. I'm not huge on him.
I wouldn't even go for it.
But, yeah, so, guys, Nico Collins would be a buy low for me right now just because on such a successful day like this, I think Collins owners are probably frustrated to see that he was last in the pecking order of those who were successful. So, Nico Collins is a buy low for me. I would certainly go out and get him. I think he's a great wide receiver, too.
Okay.
What Chandler said.
Interesting question. As you know, I have Burrow and Fields, so you feel safe trading away Burrow with Fields back or nah? I was offered Jacobs and Adams for Burrow, Ridley, and Connor.
No. I'm not doing that.
I would keep Burrow and try to do Fields instead.
I'm keeping Burrow.
I like Adams more than Ridley, and I do like Jacobs more than Connor. So if you could do Fields instead, I would actually do that.
Yeah. I'd stick with what you got. So yeah, guys. Houston put on a great second half performance. They literally had it was 17-6 or 17-10 going into halftime. came out 39-37. So, 29 to 20, second half. That's crazy.
Electric.
So, props to CJ Stroud. Props to the Texans, dude. Them losing that game in Carolina pisses me off because they could easily be 5-3, bro.
Yeah.
Like,
bro, watching that last drive, I was like, okay, 75. Like, no one really expects them to do much. And their first 2 plays, they get like 12 yards, or they get like 12 yards on both of them, essentially.
Okay.
And burn both their timeouts. Like, right off the bat.
I think I remember
so
seeing
they barely got down the field, and
Yeah.
they burned both their timeouts. I'm like, this is the worst clock management I think I've ever seen. Like, they passed to Dalton Schultz. He didn't even try to get out of bounds. And then, boom, dot, way down the field to Tank Dell. Boom, touchdown. Like, that is some elite level stuff.
Yeah. I agree.
No Panther slander.
So, well, you're in for it right now, Chandler, because the game we're reviewing is the Colts and the Panthers. So I don't know why. I don't know what I was on. I'm always an Indy homer, and for some reason I went with Carolina on this one. Obviously, was not a good decision. Yeah, Chandler. So you might want to put your earmuffs on for the next like 3 to 4 minutes, because there's gonna be a lot of Panther slander coming at you. Minshew, not a great game. Nothing spectacular. Was solid in what he was asked to do. Jonathan Taylor saw the bulk of the carries, so this is interesting. Jonathan Taylor saw 5 for 22 and a touchdown through the air. Zach Moss saw nothing. Zach Moss saw 7 carries for 26, whereas Taylor had 18 for 47. So I think we have our answers. Taylor's obviously the guy. Zach Moss can now go to your bench, in my opinion. That's how I'm assessing it. Now they play New England, so I'm out on Zach Moss now moving forward.
A little unfortunate because I'm pretty sure someone asked pregame.
Yeah, and we were saying start Zach Moss.
Yeah, but I mean you couldn't see it coming. Like you just had to ride it until it was
Panthers
over.
are a bad run defense, so that's where the analysis had us at. So
process is right.
Yeah, just poor execution from Zach Moss.
Yeah,
it's his fault. No, but Michael Pittman 8 for 64, 8 targets. He's the lead guy. Josh Downs went out on this one, so if you started Josh Downs, rough day for you. No other receiver was very notable, but Pittman's been a beast, bro.
Yeah.
I'm still waiting for like a big game out of him though. Tired of seeing him under 10 yards a catch. It's really odd to me. Panther side of things, guys, Bryce Young is just not good right now. Like he's just not. I'd be really interested to see both of these quarterbacks like situations flipped. You know, like that'd be very interesting to me.
Yeah.
So Bryce Young, guys, nothing good came out of there. Chuba is the lead back right now. I like Chuba Thursday night as a flex against Chicago. I don't like Miles Sanders at all right now. Receiving wise, like even Adam Thielen did not do well. 5 for 29 on 6 targets. Thielen is the guy I would start confidently against Chicago, unless this is the midseason burnout we've been waiting for.
Yes.
But outside of that, yeah, guys, nothing notable from this Panthers offense right now, besides Adam Thielen. And Chuba's a flex. I'll put it up like that.
Yeah. Him and Michael Thomas are walking in sync, and
they
rise and fall together.
Chill.
That's funny.
Excuse me.
Old men.
Next game, guys. This is an interesting one. Raiders Giants, ladies and gents. Antonio Pierce got them boys right.
Yep.
Tommy DeVito had to come in. 3.6 QBR. The Giants can just pack this season up.
I don't think we had to say anything about the Giants other than Saquon as a start.
Yeah, but that's obvious.
Like
Wandale did have 4 for 35 and touchdown.
Wandale was decent.
I've been trying to tell you. No. I
mean, you have.
Yeah, but it's just not pretty. Aiden O'Connell did nothing spectacular, but he did have an 82 QBR. Didn't throw any touchdowns though, but he did. That just means he did what he needed to do essentially. So the return of Josh Jacobs is clear in this one. 26 for 98, 2 touchdowns. Didn't see any receiving work, which is kind of odd to me because that's been the whole storyline of his season. I feel like his receiving work comes out of nowhere for him. But outside of him, nothing really notable. Myers did score the rushing touchdown, so if you started Myers, you're somewhat happy with that. But Devontae had 7 targets, 4 receptions, 34 yards. He's still a buy low to me. Like there's gonna be performances now where I think he goes off. The Raiders do play New York, being the Jets. So wow, they're having. That's funny. They're bringing both New York teams to Vegas in back-to-back weeks. That's interesting to me. But, yeah, guys, outside of that, nothing else notable. Michael Mayer, only 2 targets. Yeah, so I like Josh Jacobs. Obviously, I think a team like that with the interim coach is going to pound the ball, run the ball. Adams is still a buy low, in my opinion. I don't know how you view that.
Yeah.
Depending on how low you can go, I'm not going to give up good assets for really good assets for him.
Yeah. I guess that just goes back to this trade because giving up Burrow might just be too much, though. Given how he's going to be.
Yeah.
Like, he's probably a QB. Like, he should be a top 5 QB going forward.
Right. Let's see where he's at right now as we speak. He's probably pretty low.
Yeah, he had a terrible start to the season. Started to the season was awful.
Josh Dobbs is QB 10?
Yeah. Dude, he's been solid.
Holy cow.
Yeah.
I'm blown away. I saw 2 Vikings quarterbacks. I had to double take. I was like, am I on just the 1 week or? Holy cow.
Yeah, Josh Dobbs.
Yo.
He's a genius.
That's insane.
You know he's like a rocket scientist?
Yeah, he's actually really smart.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh, what are we talking about? Joe Burrow. So Joe Burrow right now, QB 18. I don't see that standing.
No.
Plays Houston. That should be a shootout. Baltimore. That's gonna be an interesting one. Pittsburgh. 2 back-to-back divisional games. One of them's gonna be big. One of them's not. I think it's easy to say. Jacksonville. I think that should be a pretty solid scoring game. Indy's gonna go off. Minnesota's gonna go off. Another game against Pittsburgh. KC. Cleveland. So Cleveland's outside of the playoff matchup, so that's good. So he is pretty fair. And if we're projecting him to keep going up, that's definitely favorable. So I like keeping Burrow.
I like keeping Burrow. I also like getting Adams and Jacobs for Ridley and Connor.
Yeah, I would agree.
I would say it depends on how confident you are in Justin Fields. Like, as a consistency. Like, how do you feel about Justin Fields?
Well, I'm not even looking to start him this week. He's not projected to play right now.
Are you going to be starting him that week forward?
When he comes back, yeah, probably. He's a dynamic quarterback. It's kind of hard to sit him.
Yeah.
But, I do have Derek Carr right now, which has worked out fairly well for me.
Somehow. I picked him up when he was terrible.
Yeah. So, moving to a very interesting game, guys. Philly invited Dallas in. This really allows them to take control of the division, take control of the NFC. They're 8-1 now. Dallas is 5-3. Got the W. Definitely some questions to be had from some refereeing. Dak had a monster game though.
Yeah.
374, 3 touchdowns, 14 on the ground. Monster game. Tony Pollard is the mystery of the season, in my opinion.
For sure.
I don't know. I'm not understanding. I'm not getting it. I'm just not. I'm really not. He's definitely the bust of the high end bust of the year, I'd say.
Yeah.
Without a doubt in my mind. CeeDee Lamb.
And he's still, what is he, 16? 18. Okay, yeah. So we're projecting top.
He's top
7, right?
Yeah, at minimum.
Woody the Badger, what's up?
What's up, Woody? Welcome to the pod, man.
Start 2 between Amari Cooper, Ridley, and Addison.
Amari, Ridley, Addison, PPR.
I think you gotta start Amari Cooper.
Amari's a start. Ridley plays. Why am I not seeing Jacksonville? I hate when I do this. Okay, Ridley plays San Fran. Let me bring up some stats here. Points against, because I want to say San Fran is actually not good against receivers. Yeah, San Fran allows the 3rd most points to receivers. Minnesota plays New Orleans. So New Orleans is pretty solid. So I'd probably roll Cooper and Ridley. I do think I'm kind of waiting for a Ridley bounce back. So I'd roll Cooper and Ridley, Woody. that's my picks right now.
Cooper for sure. And I don't mind Addison, but I also don't mind Ridley.
I would like to see the rest of your team because those are 3 solid dudes. In my opinion, you'd have to find a way to get all 3 of them in your lineup. But Addison just has the tougher matchup, in my opinion, because it's not like Jacksonville's a poor offense going up against a great team in San Fran. Like, this is a good offense. Like, this is a good team.
Yeah.
So I lean Ridley over Addison.
Okay, I don't mind it. I think it's a pick 'em.
That is a pick 'em in my opinion. But Cooper's the sure guy. So Woody, hope that helps, man. Appreciate you, being on here.
How long y'all staying on tonight?
What time is it? 10:15.
Probably like another.
We got 2 more games after this one, so I don't know.
Not too much longer.
30.
Probably 20, 30 minutes.
Yeah, get off before 11 probably.
Yeah.
All right, Chandler, what's on your mind, man? Okay, CeeDee Lamb, monster game. Jake Ferguson, monster game. Brandon Cooks, bust. Michael Gallup, bust. But CeeDee Lamb, dude, he's really putting on right now.
Yeah.
Like, he really is.
Mm-hmm.
CeeDee Lamb's putting on. Love to see the Jake Ferguson action. So that's really healthy out of that offense there. Those are 2 guys I like to see eat. Obviously, would like to see Pollard eat, but I'm out on him right now. I don't know what that is. On the other hand, Philly, Jalen Hurts, a very efficient game, 17 of 23, 207 and 2 touchdowns. Also had the rushing touchdown. So Hurts was a guy. Was it last week or 2 weeks ago where we kind of came to our senses and said, "Holy cow! Like, Hurts is having an insane year." It was either 2 weeks ago or last week, but another performance of 25 points, guys. He's an absolute monster right now. Swift had a down game. It's kind of funny. I feel like we were highlighting last week how good Swift was doing, how consistent he was, and he has a pretty poor game. 18 carries, 43 yards. So he's still the dominant back. I'm not worried about it. Gainwell did vulture him. Swift saw only 2 targets, so, roughly what we can expect. But A.J. Brown, Devontae Smith. Both these guys have been killing it for the last 2 to 3 weeks. I forget what it is exactly.
Devontae Smith, 2.
A.J. Brown the whole season.
Yeah.
Except for week 1. But yeah, so and with Goddard going out, I like both these guys to keep doing what they're doing.
Mm-hmm.
That's as simple as it is. So yeah, like to see. Obviously, Devontae only had 3 targets, but they only threw the ball 23 times. So AJ got 9 of them. So that's well over 33% target share.
Get Stephen A.
I know he's so weak. Didn't I tell you? But yeah, so I like Devontae moving forward. I think you kind of have to start until he burns you, really, in my opinion. Too talented of a guy to sit. But yeah, so Philly's on top, dude. Philly's a juggernaut, man.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I know we were kind of like, when they lost to the Jets, it was like, okay, this is the loss we've all been waiting for from them. It's going to get rough. But then they played Miami the next week, I'm pretty sure. And now they played Dallas, and it's like, it beat both of them, took care of business. So
yeah.
it's hard to sit here and be like, anything bad about them. But
they're a juggernaut.
Yeah, like, I mean, obviously the secondary is not what it was. Their secondary last year was insane. This year it's one of the most vulnerable ones. But with their pass rush and run defense, like, you can let up all the passing yards you want, really.
Mm-hmm.
So, and then on offense, there's nothing they can't do. And I've said this time and time again.
Yeah, I forget who was commentating that game, but they were mentioning something that you had mentioned. Is that Doug Peterson said that they basically have 3 plays to get 8 yards.
Yeah.
And then on 4th down, they can get that.
That's why you see them
time.
run. If it's 3rd and 5, they'll run the ball.
Yeah.
They don't care. Because they know they're going to get 3 yards to start.
Right.
Like, they know on a play they're going to get 3 yards. And if they get more, then they get the first down. Yeah. And if not, then they're 4th and 2, 4th and 1, like, and then they just run QB sneak or something. So, like,
what was the time of possession in that game? I'd like to know.
Asking the questions that matter, Carter. Scrolling. Wow, 30-29, so neck and neck.
Okay.
Dude, oh my gosh, the penalties. Out of hand. 20 total penalties. Hold on. 20 total penalties in that one. I got to see what the penalty count was in the Chiefs-Dolphins game. I swear I've never seen more penalties. And I could be totally wrong. But 6 and 9, okay. So still, 15 penalties? That's still pretty high. But 10 and 10, that's absurd. But yeah, let's move to, this was another very interesting game. So Sunday night, guys. Cincy and Buffalo. Cincy, we both predicted Cincy.
Yep.
Chandler predicted Cincy?
He did.
Chandler, you got this one right. You can take the earmuffs off. Got this one right. You got the last two wrong. And your Panthers. You reeled me in on that one for idiot. I always go with Indy, even if it's a bad matchup.
Yeah.
I don't know, man. Don't ask me, dude. Did Woody make another comment? Yeah.
I made my league 1 quarterback, 2 running back, 2 wide receiver, 1 tight end, 2 flex. Lamar, Gibbs, Devontae, Cooper, Nico, Kelsey, Ridley, Swift, Addison, Puka,
CD,
Devontae Smith.
Holy cow, man! What are you doing to these? I mean, I'm assuming you're the commissioner saying I made my league. You're an animal.
So you're starting CD and Puka, I'm assuming.
And Amari. And you have Nico. You have Nico, Addison. Bro, go make a trade for like Stephon Diggs or something. Trade away this depth. I mean, you do have 2 flexes. So I'm on 5-4. I'm playing the best team every week. That happens. 5-4 is still a solid record though.
Yeah.
Gibbs, Javonte, and Swift. So I'd probably try to swing for a really good running back. You got a lot of receivers, bro. You got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 that can all be started every week. So, I mean, I know you have, you can start any 4 of those any week, but that still leaves you with 3 guys that are on your bench that are almost guaranteed to outperform whoever you pick, just because that's how fantasy works. So if I were you, Woody, I'd go make a trade, bro. I'd package like Javonte, because I'm getting high on Javonte right now. So maybe you keep him, but trade like Swift, Amari, and Nico for like Stephon Diggs and a running back, or go for a star running back, something like that. Traded Drake London for A-Chan last. Oh my gosh, you have A-Chan on the squad also?
Wow, you're doing good.
I'm gonna make an upgrade at receiver. Yeah, bro, you have all the assets that you can possibly ask for.
Yeah, so Chandler.
Not sure how you traded Drake. I don't know. What Chandler say?
If this is regarding the how long you're staying on, I don't know if the mic went out or something. Probably another. Let's say 20 minutes. We got
this game and one more game, so
this game and then the Chargers game is pretty quick. So maybe 20 minutes, 15, 20 minutes. Yeah. And then obviously if you have some questions or want to talk once we're done, like we'll be on for.
Stick around for a few minutes.
Yeah,
absolutely. You know how it goes.
Yeah,
you've been around here long enough, Chandler. You know how it goes.
You know the drill.
All right, so Buffalo guys came into Cincy, did not get the W. Another lower scoring game than what we expected. But these are 2 solid defenses, so. That always happens in games. That doesn't really surprise me in games like this.
Yeah.
So Josh Allen, guys, had a kind of a rough go at it. Still great from fantasy. 258, a touchdown. Did have a pick. 44 yards on the ground and another touchdown. So obviously, if you're playing, 4-point touchdown for passing, you love to see the rushing. So that's great. James Cook is in a bit of a funk. I gotta highlight that because he was a guy that you and I started getting really high on. Coming into the season, I was also, as we approached our draft at least. I was like, okay, this is a guy where I need to start targeting him in drafts because it just made sense. But a bit of a rough spot right now. We did not see Leonard Fournette. Latavius Murray only got 2 carries. James Cook got 6. He also saw 4 receptions on his 4 targets. So still fits the mold of what we expect. Just want to see it at a higher level, higher volume. Stephon Diggs does what he does. I'm not even going to go through it. Dalton Kincaid, 10 for 81, 11 targets. Kincaid is the guy to have right now at the tight end spot. He's a beast.
Yeah.
What Chandler say?
Thoughts on Pollard rest of the season? Feel like my panic level is a 7. He's bust multiple weeks in a row. Only 1 touchdown on the season. Cowboys hate him in the red zone. Just feel like he's not getting utilized.
Dude, I'll take this on first. I was a Pollard owner last year. Got him in the 5th round. Finished as a top 5 RB, if I'm not mistaken. Maybe it was RB6. Had a great year. I feel like you're either holding or buying, but what's that?
But man, why do I want to sell?
Yeah. I would not sell unless you're getting like a solid wide receiver 2 and a solid like running. Like, I don't know. It's hard to, like, sit here and sell Pollard for, like, pennies on the dollar.
Right.
So rest of season, like, you got to think he turns it up at some point, especially having only one touchdown. I highlighted that, I think, last week talking about the preview for this game, the Eagles-Dallas game, and I was like, he's got to get more touchdowns at some point. I do agree he's not being utilized correctly. I feel like you have to hold. Unless you want to shop him and see what you can get, but do not sell yourself low. Obviously, his stock is down, so you're going to have to take what you can get, but make sure you're getting at least one super solid dude in return.
Mm-hmm.
But, like, a panic level at a 7, I would agree with. Because I'm not totally out on him. Maybe 6.5, but 7's fair. I mean, how do you assess it?
I think he's only going to get better. I don't think there's any chance that he doesn't end up
that's what I like to think.
Running back like 13 at worst at this point.
You said he's at 18 right now?
He's at 18, right? So he's got to go up a little bit.
Dude.
One touchdown in the season. You think that goes up? And
okay.
I agree. I feel like if I had him, I would hold or buy. But I wouldn't want to sell as an owner of Chandler. I would not want to sell as an owner.
I agree.
However, if you could get...
You can get, like, Ridley in a solid...
Like ETN and...
Huh?
I don't know. Probably not ETN.
No one's trading ETN for Pollard.
ETN. What am I talking about? If you could get, like... Let me see.
If you can get, like, Brian Robinson and Calvin Ridley. Something like that. And maybe you have to throw in an extra piece.
Would you go for, like, Kyron and, like...
Maybe.
Or just go straight up for, like, Higgins and then, like, try to get, Brian Robinson or something?
I don't mind it. I mean, you go for, like, Christian Kirk and Brian Robinson, something like that. I think Robinson, or maybe Pacheco coming off a few down weeks. I know he has the bye this week. So go for, like, Pacheco and someone... But, all right, so what did Kenny say? So what's up, Kenny?
Start 2 full PPR. Bijan, JT or Mixon. JT off the bat, you got to start him.
Off the rip, you got to start him. JT goes against New England. Solid matchup there. I like it.
So we're really talking Mixon or Bijan here.
Mixon plays Houston. Houston has a solid run defense. Bijan plays Arizona.
I'd go Bijan.
I got to lean Bijan, bro. Bijan, JT... I think both of us are agreeing on that.
Yeah.
Mixon be the odd man out.
And Mixon as a flex is not a bad option.
You're right. Yeah, I was gonna say good problems to have.
Right.
Is
Gabe Davis worth having?
This is
very deep in the wide receiver spot. Is it worth grabbing Dell off waivers?
I would grab Dell over Gabe Davis personally.
Really?
Even though we've been Gabe Davis enthusiasts, but if he's deep at receiver, I like Tank Dell more than Gabe Davis. So this is how I view it. Gabe Davis has these games that, as we just saw, 0 receptions, where he just doesn't do anything. Like, Tank Dell is going to get schemed up the ball.
Okay.
If he's deep at receiver already, and, like, he's going to, like, I don't know, if he just happens to need a guy for some – like, if you're going to ask me who's more likely to get 5 points, I'm telling you Tank Dell, Okay. Like, I'd lean Tank Dell, Wizzy. I've seen you on here before, bro, so appreciate you being back. I would lean Tank Dell. Personally. Now, I have been a bit of a Gabe Davis enthusiast.
Yeah, we've been talking pretty good about him.
Let's see his game logs. Obviously, this week was bad. But the previous week against Tampa Bay, he had 9 for 87, a touchdown. Busted the week before that. But then he was solid the 4 games in between. Gabe Davis.
So Cincinnati, Denver, Jets, Philly, bye.
That's pretty inviting.
KC, Dallas, Chargers.
That's pretty inviting, to be honest. But, for me, Gabe Davis is a guy where the matchups don't matter.
They don't.
Like, looking at rest of season schedule does not matter. Like, Gabe Davis is going to bust. He's going to boom.
Touchdown.
Yeah.
No touchdown, 3 points. No touchdown, 1 point. Touchdown, 23.
And then nothing.
Yeah,
if he's not scoring a touchdown this season, like...
I will say, if you're watching our Sleepers Busting Locks, he would have started Tank Dell this week.
Yeah, Wizzy. You got to lock in, man. What'd he say?
I already have Adams, Olave, Flowers, D-Hop. Okay, so, like...
Take the shot on... I like Tank Dell.
Yeah.
I say Tank Dell.
Screw it.
What'd Chandler say?
Your wide receivers are...
Yes.
Very good. Next 3 games: Giants, Panthers, Washington. He doesn't get right these next 3 games. I don't know what to say. LOL.
Talking about
It would be
Pollard.
too late to tell, but I don't know.
Oh yeah, man.
He faces the Giants
To me,
next week.
and then Panthers, who are bad against the run.
Yeah.
And Washington is, I don't know. But to me, so Chandler, I would shop him around, see what you can get from him. Ask a few guys, hit up for players you're interested in, see how these guys are gauging. Obviously, ask for more than what you expect to get. That's how you should always trade. Don't lowball yourself to start. But it's so hard for me, if I were a Pollard owner, to move on, just because you probably invested a first round pick in him, if not a very high second round.
Yeah.
So, to me, Pollard's the guy you got to stick it out with on a high flying offense. Although it doesn't make sense right now, I'd have to stick it out with him.
I would stick it out too. I mean, if I'm gonna trade Pollard, it's probably gonna be Pollard and something for someone better.
Yeah.
I wouldn't want to trade away Pollard and then go less and then not have Pollard when he's good. I don't know.
See what Wizzy said?
Yeah. I also had Mr. Stroud.
CJ Stroud enthusiast over here.
Wizzy, so we were late last week. I'll say
Yes.
that much. Has 1 touchdown in a year versus the Giants.
Yeah. I expect another bounce back. His
So
next two
at this point.
yeah, his next two matchups are very favorable.
Mm.
You'd think they'd ground and pound the ball against a team like the Giants that they're going to dominate defensively. That's my outlook, hopefully.
Verdict. Hold.
Yes. Hold.
Order in the court.
All right. Moving on to the Bengals side of things, guys. Joe Burrow, great game out of him. 31 for 44, high volume, 348, 2 touchdowns, both at the tight ends. 82 QBR. Joe Mixon on the ground, very inefficient, did have the touchdown. He is seeing good receiving work, which I really like. He had 5 for 31, so that's very encouraging. Jamar Chase, a quiet game, 4 for 41 on 8 targets. T, getting back in the mix, baby.
Yeah.
You know I love this. I got a soft spot for T. Higgins.
Oh, Wizzy has a Chris Johnson.
Chris Johnson jersey, bro. Good for you. Good for you.
Nice.
Good for you. I love that. I got that. I was 8 or 9, probably. Maybe 10, something like that. But yeah, Chris Johnson was that dude.
He was.
Sure. He was insane. CJ2K. But yeah, guys, T. Higgins dominated this game, 8 for 110 and 9 targets. Tyler Boyd 3 for 56. So it's funny. One of these receivers pops off, and Boyd always seems to have a solid stat line. Nothing fantasy relevant, but just solid stat line. 3 or 4 catches, 50, 60 yards, something like that. Sneak a touchdown every time.
And then he'll have a game where he gets 16 points.
Right.
Oh, he's nice.
Yeah. I don't. They need to keep T and let Boyd go. So I feel like he should always. I don't know. I've always wished Tyler Boyd was I always wanted him to go to Green Bay when Rodgers was there.
Oh, that
would have been so tough,
Yeah.
bro.
Like a replacement for Randall Cobb.
Yeah. He would have been so tough in that offense.
Mm-hmm.
But anyways, guys. So yeah, T Higgins, great game out of him. Jamar, that just means he's that much more, guaranteed to bounce back next week, basically. So that wraps us up on that one. Since he won, we're moved to our Monday night game, which has this guy grinning ear to ear. 27-6. Chargers. It was an ugly game. I stopped watching after the first half. I'll say that. It was just an ugly game. It just wasn't friendly to the eyes.
Yeah.
Herbert, nothing impressive at all.
Yeah.
Eckler had a big game, 14 for 47. Pollard and Keenan for CMC. Oh. Funny you say that.
Ooh. Okay.
I like to see your receiver depth, but I don't mind that.
Yeah, I like it. If you have depth, I'm going for it.
If you got receiver depth, I like that. I would propose that.
Who are your wide receivers again? I know you tell us every time, but
it's a lot to keep up with here, Chandler.
yeah.
Anyways, so Austin Eckler, big game, found the end zone twice. Solid rushing work. Only 2 receptions though on 7 targets, which is not like Austin Eckler, but nonetheless, you love the workload, and the guy finds the end zone.
Yeah.
So that's great. Keenan Allen, 8 for 77. Wizzy, what's up, bro? What was
Deontay Johnson,
If I snag.
D-Hop, Zay Flowers, Tank Dell.
If he snags.
Snags.
Deontay Johnson's a lock, in my opinion.
Yeah.
He plays Green Bay,
Mm-hmm.
so he's a lock to me. D-Hop plays Tampa Bay. Tampa Bay's an inviting matchup, that's for sure. I mean, we just saw that game between them and Houston. I'm a D-Hop. D-Hop's my favorite receiver of all time, so it's hard for me when I get these questions. Zay Flowers, he's going against... Why am I not seeing the Ravens? I'm blacking out. Cleveland. I would sit Zay Flowers this week. Going against Cleveland. Now, Tank Dell has a solid matchup against Cincy. Not great. I'd go D-Hop and Deontay.
Yeah.
I think that's where I lean here.
Uh-huh.
Especially Tank coming off the big week. He is that boomer bust guy, so I think he might have a solid week, but that's how I view it. So,
Yeah.
Wizzy, Deontay Johnson, D-Hop, boom.
Yeah, I'd even do that over Gabe Davis against Gabe Davis against Denver is a
It's a solid matchup.
inviting matchup.
What did Chandler say? Wide receivers would be Debo, Amari, Ridley, Evans. Okay, I mean, if you can go for CMC and you got that rotation, those 4 guys, I don't mind it at all.
Keenan. That's a lot to give up, man. Keenan.
Bro, you're getting CMC.
Yeah.
You're getting like the best player in fantasy football.
Okay, yeah, that's true. I thought so. Yeah, if you can get CMC, I'd say trying to win the shit, go for it.
Yeah. So Keenan had another great game. He's been a monster this year. Where's he ranking right now?
Who?
Keenan. Wide receiver 4. So he's still doing it. The top 3 guys are just head and shoulders above everyone else though. Tyreek, AJ Brown, and Stephon. 224, 203, 195, and then 30 less points to the wide receiver 4 at Keenan at 164. That's crazy. Like, wow, CD's worked his way up to wide receiver 6.
Dude, he's been going.
Wow. I mean, he's had the game before the bye, 18 by 41, 28.
Yeah, he's been going.
Holy cow. Okay. That makes sense.
That makes me think about like what I'm about to do next year. Like, is it worth going for wide receivers now? Like with the first picks?
That's bro. I got Nico Collins and Puka in the last like 5 rounds,
Right.
as well as Brandon Ayuk in the 6th.
But you look at like the 30-point differential that's going on.
I mean,
right now.
yeah, I know what you're saying.
Like, but Stephon Diggs was end of the first.
Mid
Mid to end of the first, and
Tyreek was pretty high. He was the 4th pick in our draft.
yeah.
I was thinking about taking him at 2. I should have.
And then obviously J. Jeff would be up there, I think,
Right.
with them.
That's safe to say. But yeah, 30-point break between.
That's kind of
But
a lot.
running backs just as bad, if not worse. Like, I think the gap between running backs 4 and 5, I saw it somewhere. Running backs 4 and 5 is larger than like 5 to 55 or something like that.
Oh wow.
It's some insane stat. I could be totally wrong on that, but
Okay.
yeah, something insane like that. But all right, to wrap this up, guys, the Jets, nothing substantial from Zach Wilson. Breece Hall, pedestrian game. Obviously getting the workload. I like Breece Hall season long. Just a Chargers keyed in on the run, like
Yep.
you were saying. Garrett Wilson, great day, 7 for 80, 13 targets. Continues to get it done. We said this last week. The guy continues to get it done. I love to see it. Garrett Wilson owners love to see it. Keep the guy in your lineup. Do not get scared. Outside of that, I got nothing. I will say Michael Carter did not see any rushes. Saw 6 targets. I wish they would use him instead of Dalvin Cook, because Dalvin Cook is probably the worst running back in the NFL. I just got to get that off my chest. Wizzy, I know you got the Vikings logo. I don't know how you feel about that statement. I can't stand Dalvin Cook. Derek Carr, and who's Mitch Marmer? Is Wizzy low-key frying us right now?
Derek Carr and Mitch Marmer, thanks for the advice.
He's calling you Derek Carr. Yo. Wizzy, that's funny, bro. That's funny, bro. I just looked at Mitch Marmer. That's
Derek Carr.
That's hilarious, bro. That's great stuff.
Yeah. That's funny.
Yo, that's weak.
Dude's got jokes.
Come on, Wizzy. Damn, bro. Really?
Bro, you really do look exactly like him.
Yo, that's awesome. That's hilarious. That's hilarious. That's the best thing that happened to me all day.
Yeah, that's good.
That's good stuff. That's great stuff. That's great stuff. But yeah, my Dalvin Cook spiel is over, and that ends us for the night, boys. If anyone else, I love how he adds in the JK at the end when like we literally both look exactly like.
Yeah.
Oh, that's funny.
You're
Wizzy.
not kidding.
I'm seeing on here more, Wizzy. After you just said that, I know you've been on here like once or twice before, maybe 3 times. I'm not giving you a choice now after you say something like that.
So, bro, I want to show you this.
That's funny. That's great.
All right, Tui Pelotu, Mack, and Bosa have been on the field for 40
I saw
dropbacks
this.
so far this season. They have 10 sacks on those plays.
25%
25% sack rate.
The league average is 6.8.
If Tui, Mack, and Bosa are on the field and they have and they play drop back, they're screwing themselves over.
Facts. You said 2 studs. Appreciate it, bro. Appreciate it.
Average is 6.8.
That's fun. I'm still weak over that, but yeah. No, that's good stuff. That's for sure. So yeah, because the gap between McCaffrey and DeAndre Swift is 70 points.
Nice seeing new faces in here.
Yeah, absolutely, Chandler.
Yes, sir.
So
Absolutely. Do you guys have a schedule weekly?
what's 130 minus 70? 50? No, 60. Yeah. So the gap between McCaffrey and Swift is larger than the gap between Swift as RB5 and Zeke at RB40. That's insane. You got a 70-point gap from RB1 to RB5, and then a 68-point gap from RB5 to RB40.
Swift is that low, or is Swift the good end of that?
What you mean?
Like, is he's RB5?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So then Moss to.
No, Swift to Zeke.
What?
RB5 to RB40.
So
Are you not getting
RB4 is that much better than Swift?
No, RB4 doesn't matter. I'm just saying. RB1 to RB5 is a 70-point gap.
Yeah. So then RB6 to RB.
No, RB5 to RB40. Subtracting Swift's points from Zeke's points gives you a smaller differential than subtracting McCaffrey from Swift. The gap from RB1 to RB5
Yes. Okay, I know what you're saying.
is greater than the gap from RB5
I know what you're saying.
to RB40.
But usually it's 1 to 5 and then 6 to.
No, but the fact that it's like RB5 is the comparison here.
Okay.
Because that's where the gap is created.
So you want those top guys?
You want McCaffrey. You want CMC guys. He should be the first pick in your draft.
For sure.
But Mostert's having a great season. Etienne's having a great season.
Okay. Do you guys have a schedule weekly? So we stream on Tuesday nights, on Wednesday nights. On Friday nights, we do our Sleepers, Busts, and Locks. That's a fun episode. And then usually on Sunday before the game, we go on
45 minutes before or so.
and do some like last-minute Q&As.
Yeah. So,
That's
well,
basically
I'll
our
also
schedule.
say like Tuesday night tonight is Thursday night preview, review of last week, and then Wednesday night is a preview of the upcoming week.
And game picks.
Yeah, game picks.
We pick who's gonna win
I
each
feel
week.
like I'm missing something else, but no, yeah. So Wednesday's game picks and preview obviously. So that just gives you an idea. As Carter said, Friday night is Sleepers, Busts, and Locks, which is our favorite episode as well as seems to be your guys's. And then we kind of BS around, kind of pick out some stats, stuff like that. We're doing it now, but
Yeah.
some deeper stats, our advanced and efficiency metrics, that sort of stuff. Hang out with you guys, talk a little, answer a few questions, that sort of thing. So.
And then last minute before Sunday.
Yep.
Fields and Connor for Jacobs. That way I can just hold on Pollard if things go south. And
I like that.
I don't need it.
I actually like that a lot.
Yeah, Fields and Connor for
I
Jacobs.
like that. Chandler, you're using your brain, man. I give you props on that. That's a great idea.
Mm-hmm.
With Burrow, yeah. No, I like that a lot. And Connor's stock should be rising a little bit coming off of the injury and with Murray in the fold now. So holds a little bit more weight there. So I like that move for you.
I was looking at it too. I think Connor's a really good trade away candidate. Now, this is not to say anything bad about James Conner, but if you just look at his schedule.
Holy cow, you put up 158?
Yeah, bro, my team went nuclear.
Good for you.
But if you look at James Conner, he's got
nuclear.
So he's coming back. He's facing Atlanta, Houston, LA, Pitt, bye, San Fran, Chicago, Philly.
No bueno.
I'm just not. I think he's a good sell high. I don't really like that
sell high
schedule
coming
too
off
much.
the injury. That's funny. Nah, but yeah, for real, I like that.
That
I would
being said,
definitely
he'll still be fine. But yeah, I'd shoot that.
Yeah.
Too.
That being said, he will be fine because I will be sitting here. Probably be my bust next week if he plays, and he'll probably go off for 100 total yards and 4 receptions and a touchdown somewhere in there. So start James Conner if he's in my bust list, along with Mike Evans. We learned that this week. He had 12 points, nothing crazy. I'm not saying things got crazy or nothing.
Should I try to trade for Devontae Adams with a couple of my receivers?
Okay, Woody had insane receivers, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Devontae Adams.
Okay, this is gonna be my take, Woody. I don't like if you're gonna trade your depth for a guy. I want a guy who has no questions around him. Adams has too many questions around him. Production's not consistent. You need to go get an absolute stud. That's how I feel about it. I'm talking Stephon. I'm talking Keenan Allen. I'm talking CD. I'm talking Jamar. Amon-Ra. I'm talking those type of guys. Those are 5 guys right there that I would certainly go get before I go get Devontae Adams.
Would you try to do, if you could, like Puka for Adams straight up? Would you trade that?
No.
You'd keep Puka?
Yes.
Okay.
I mean, Puka's already 33 points ahead.
Yeah.
And I think Puka's a better fantasy receiver right now. So those guys, Woody, Stephon, Keenan, CD, Jamar, Amon-Ra. You can throw AJ Brown in there, but that's gonna be tough one to go get. But yeah, I would go get any of those guys. Or
what should I get for Amon-Ra?
Oh yeah, so scroll up.
So Amon-Ra I would trade
Probably trade like Nico and Devontae Smith. Or maybe Amari and you have CD.
Yeah, I would trade maybe like Addison. Addison's a good guy. You got Addison, Devontae Smith.
Maybe Nico and Ridley. 2 of your I mean, trying to trade with Amari, that'd be kind of hard because you don't have anyone that's mid-level really.
So you have CD as your clear starter.
CD's the clear starter, along with Amari, in my opinion.
Yeah. For me, I would try to throw Puka in there.
Yeah. I'd trade probably Puka and Addison.
Yeah.
I think Puka and Addison for Amon-Ra is fair. That'd probably be my go at it.
Would you do Puka and Smith?
I don't mind it because, I mean, he has, bro, yeah, you have so much. So I wouldn't be afraid of overselling players or overbuying, however you want to look at it.
Yeah.
Yeah, I would not be scared to do that. The 2 guys I would try to hold obviously are CD and Amari. I also see Ridley coming back throughout the season, but yeah, so I wouldn't be scared, bro, to oversell some of your players, to get those studs.
Amon-Ra's the guy I really like.
Yes,
too.
He was my wide receiver 5. I say this every podcast, I feel like, but I just got to make it known. He was my wide receiver 5 coming into the season. So obviously he's not there right now. He's at 10, but the dude is consistent as it gets. 19, 14, 19, 16. Missed the game? Yeah, I think he missed that game. 30, 23, 16. So he hasn't had a single game under 14, and that's the only game that was under 16. So, and he's already had a bye and an injury. He's missed 2 games. Well, he missed a game and had a bye, and he's still wide receiver 10.
Yeah. He's about as good as he gets for wide receivers.
Yeah, absolutely. And he sees 3 great matchups coming up. Chargers, Chicago, Green Bay.
Dude, I want him so bad.
His
Portland
playoff
is not
schedule
gonna
is
be-
Denver, Minnesota, and Dallas. Do what you got to do, Woody, to go get Amon-Ra.
Yeah.
I'm going to leave it at that.
Oversell or sell.
Overbuy,
Overbuy.
oversell, same thing. He also has missed a game, and like half the teams haven't had a buy. Yeah, facts. So yeah, I mean he's 2 weeks behind everyone else, and still not everyone else, but you know what I'm saying.
I've been asking our owner for Amon-Ra, our league's owner.
He's a hard guy to pry,
Yeah.
but when you got receivers like that to give
Doesn't
up,
respond much.
yeah, he doesn't. But all right, bro. Anything else?
I think that's it for me.
Give everyone a countdown from 10.
I think the biggest pickup of this week is going to be Keaton Mitchell. Jake Ferguson, if he's on your waivers,
Jake Ferguson.
is a good pickup.
Kate Otten.
Kate Otten, solid as well. Anyone else stand out to you? Josh Dobbs, maybe? I mean,
Yeah.
I don't hate it.
I mean, I think both you and I were saying, we like him in Minnesota, and he was already doing. No problem, Woody. No problem, Chandler.
Yep,
So
no problem.
I'm assuming you guys don't have any more questions. Not sure that Wizzy's still in here, but yeah, appreciate you guys being on as always. Love to say it. Love to see you guys out here. It's just it's fun. It really is. It's fun to talk with y'all. Fun to interact, answer questions. Hopefully we help. Like hopefully we really do help y'all. Like I really do. Enjoy helping you guys.
Drop Hunt for Herbert or Mitchell. If you're looking for upside, I don't mind dropping Hunt for Mitchell.
I wouldn't for Herbert. As Carter and I have highlighted throughout this podcast, that backfield is a mess.
Yeah.
You got Foreman. I mean, I guess Roschon's not really in the fold right now, but Foreman's getting the bulk of carries, and Herbert's effective. Don't get me wrong, but I like Hunt. But as Carter said, if you're swinging for some upside, Mitchell. If Hunt's your RB 4 or 5, something like that, go ahead and drop him for Mitchell. I don't mind it.
Mm-hmm.
But all right, y'all.
All right.
Appreciate it. It's peace and love always.
Peace.
Be kind.